Page 1. Sumerians. A captivating guide to ancient Sumerian history, Sumerian mythology and the Mesopotamian Empire of the Sumer civilization. An introduction to ancient Sumerians. Ancient history is always a fascinating subject. For a layman, it stands as a romantic look of our ancestors, how times were different and how people lived on without the commodities modern man has today. For a historian worth their salt, the ancient people are an endless source of information, good indicators of how we're moving along as a collective humanity, though they captivate on the micro level as well, from the individual to the state or country itself. In short, learning from this past equips us to function better in the future, and occasionally chuckle when we find a relatable datum that speaks to us personally. And on the note of speaking to us personally, each region has a fascination with its own history, and the history of the people immediately surrounding it. Europeans continue to learn from ancient Greeks and Romans, paying close attention to other cultures that surrounded them, such as Illyrians, Thracians, Celts, etc. Africans look to Egypt, Ethiopia, Nubia, and other massive kingdoms and empires that dominated the continent. Asians have a massive number of cultural clusters to research, such as ancient China and the cultures on the Indian subcontinent. The Americas and Australia, while themselves descendants from Europeans, look to the cultures of their native peoples. Thus we learn more about Aztecs, Mayans, Incas, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Native American tribes of North America, and so on. However, all of this had to have started somewhere. And what is often known as the cradle of civilization happens to be in Asia Minor, or the Middle East as it is now socio-politically better known. This is the area between the large rivers known as Tigris and Euphrates, and because of this location it bears the name Mesopotamia, land between the rivers. But Mesopotamia itself had numerous cultures: Persians, Syrians, Assyrians, Amorites, Elamites, Babylonians, Hittites, Hurrians, and, later on, Romans and various Muslim sects and subgroups. Still, one culture had to be the first, and that would be the ancient Sumerians. The sheer importance of Sumerian culture in regards to world culture as a whole is impossible to overstate. This civilization is single-handedly responsible for some of the most major innovations in nearly every field relevant to maintaining a civilized society. This includes religion, lawmaking, architecture, schooling, art, literature, and even entertainment. Naturally, most of what we see as negative aspects of society were established in ancient Sumer as well. There wasn't an aspect of Sumerian life that wasn't plagued with corruption or devastation of one form or another. In other words, the Sumerians gave us both the sublimeness of faith and the rigidness of religious thought coupled with a desire for political supremacy. They gave us both the benevolent, caring monarchs and cruel, punishing tyrants, the educated child and the spoiled brat, the hard-working agrarian and the drunken reveler, and the epic empires as well as the pathetic remnants of them. The Sumerians did it all, and they did it first. Sadly, their culture is long gone. And as is often the case with ancient cultures, as interesting as they may be to a reader or a curious pair of eyes, they tend not to be relatable because of the massive time gap between them and us, which in this case spans no less than 7,000 years, at least. But this book will give you the gist of what Sumerians were like. You will learn about the people themselves, how they organized their society, what they believed and how they believed in it, what their now famous city-states were like and who ruled over them, how they went about their everyday lives, what they invented or reinvented that we still utilize today, how their culture developed throughout the millennia, and how they interacted with other peoples surrounding them. And the reason the Sumerians in particular should matter to you, as both a reader and a proponent of your current culture, is a simple one, being the first, The Sumerians are not just Asia-specific, they are part of our common heritage, and as such are likely our direct cultural and civilizational ancestors. And the old adage of treating elders with respect matters here as well, especially if said elders can return that respect tenfold with invaluable information and fascinating facts. Page 11.